Hello and welcome to another episode of the Average Joe Sports Show, brought to you as always by AverageJoeSports.com, a blog for your everyday sports fan. I'm your host, Noah Strackbein, along with special guest over here, Conor Duffy. Welcome, Conor.
How you doing, Noah? I'm ready for some draft talk.
Oh, of course, we all are, dude. As he said, we have a ton of NFL draft coverage throughout this entire show, plus an exclusive interview with Utica College defensive end and future NFL draftee Nick Woodman out of Utica, New York, will be on the show through a phone interview with all his feelings, what makes him great and how he's going to handle being an NFL player within the upcoming days. It's already Monday. And that's extremely exciting. But we're going to start off with some current veteran talk a little bit. We're going to talk Josh Norman and his huge deal. That's the only word to put it. Huge deal. He signed with the Washington Redskins after being cut. Well, you could say cut by the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, I think cut would probably
cut. Yeah, they dropped his franchise tag, which, there obviously had to be some meaning behind that. And then he went and signed a 5-year, $75 million contract with the Redskins, and $50 million is guaranteed. He got exactly what he wanted. Yeah. He did. He got all the money. I don't know. I'm going to ask you first. What are your thoughts on it? How are you feeling?
I thought it was pretty crazy. It moved really fast. Like, the second I just saw, wow, Norman actually got cut from, the Panthers.
Oh, yeah.
He was a key part of their defense that led them to a 15-1 season and winning the NFC.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
No, it was – I don't know. I'm not gonna lie. I like Josh Norman. I think he's a fantastic corner, but I don't think he's worth $75 million over 5 years. He's guaranteed $10 million a year.
Yeah, that's
just
a lot of
whether he plays a game or not. I don't know. I have mixed feelings only because, there's players in the past that have done this, like Darrelle Revis, who have declined afterwards. Players get all this money and then suddenly don't want to perform as well.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have anything to, really strive for because he has, 3/4 of that or 2/4 of that, guaranteed. He's got $50 million coming his way, whether he sits out, the rest of his career or not. It's coming his way.
Yeah.
And because of that, I don't know. I'm a little skeptical about it. I don't know. I'm looking at his numbers now. Four interceptions last season. That's not crazy.
Well, yeah, but to be fair, how often did he get thrown at though? He's a really good coverage guy.
Yeah, no, that's true. That is true. He did a lot. But you watched a lot of games. I watched him even in the Giants game, the big one that everyone talked about.
Yeah.
He had a hard time covering Odell Beckham Jr. And I get ODB had subpar game, but it was still, if you watched it, it wasn't as easy as Norman would like it to be. And that gives me worries because cornerbacks don't last, 40 years. You get one in a million that, turn out to be Charles Woodson.
Yeah.
But besides that, they don't come and go as often as you'd like them to. It's you get a good cornerback, he's good for maybe 4 or 5 years, and then he just suddenly disappears. He, falls off. But then again, that happens to a lot of defensive players. And when you talk about this type of money, there's a ton of examples out there who did not do well after they got paid. You look, Ndamukong Suh had a subpar year after his crazy contract. I had a guy, Brian Maxwell. Yes, there you go. That's a perfect example.
I think that's the big one.
He got all that money, got exactly what he wanted for, just like Josh Norman's doing. And he came in and played okay, I guess.
Okay, it's a little bit.
Yeah, that's even pushing it. Exactly. That's the problem. Is it's so hard to give these players money because you don't know if they're really worth it.
Yeah, and now they have crazy expectations for him too. $50 million guaranteed.
Oh my gosh,
he's gonna have to perform like he did last year.
Yeah, and if he doesn't, what do? Do you look at it and go, oh, all right, well, we should probably try to get rid of him, or because you're paying him $50 million, and I guarantee nobody else is gonna take on that, especially if he doesn't have a crazy good year, which will be hard. I don't know. He's playing on a defense that doesn't have much around it.
Yeah, he's literally the only, I think, secondary piece that's worth anything.
On the Redskins, yes, exactly. You look at that entire team, there's not much that's worth anything. And then
you're right, yeah.
Now you're looking at it's just him. It's him and I don't know, Kirk Cousins. Those are the only names on that entire team that you could be like, all right, I guess, we could really look at them. But it's hard. It's hard to say that I'm okay with $75 million for someone who had one good year.
Exactly. That's what I mean. This is the only good year. He's been an okay corner, but he really exploded last year. But how old is he? He's like 29, 28?
Yeah, I believe he's 28 years old.
Yeah, that's kind of old for a corner.
He's getting up there. He is okay. Say he is 28 years old. If that's how old he is, he's got what 3 years in him before
And
it's
that's
a
like
steady
maximum.
decline. Exactly. You know, Charles Woodson's what 36, and people act like he's a million years old. 36 years old.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
7 years from now. After this contract, if Josh Norman's still playing as well as Charles Woodson is, I don't believe he's worth $50 million guaranteed.
I agree completely.
No, it's hard, especially this late in the year. Like, as you said, we'll go back to the age thing. 5 years, if he's 28 years old, he's going to be 33 by the time this is over. 33 years old.
Yeah.
That's old. That's old for a cornerback.
Oh yeah, it's
Especially today, the game's getting quicker and guys are getting slower.
exactly. It's all about speed.
It is.
And speed does not age well.
No, exactly. That's the best way to put it. Speed does not age well. How do you sit there and say $50 million is yours because in 3 years you will not be able to compete with Odell Beckham Jr. and the rest of the NFL world? Antonio Brown in 3 years is going to make Josh Norman look silly. That's the best way to put it. You know, Antonio Brown, I don't know what his contract is, but I don't believe it's $75 million.
No.
And Josh Norman is going to not even be able to compete with him in 3 years. That's how bad this is.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess the Redskins really believe that Josh Norman's a key part to them getting far in the playoffs than they did last year. I mean, I don't know. I guess maybe it's a desperation move.
It definitely could be a desperation move. I don't know. Maybe. This is it. Okay. I was thinking about this today when I was just, writing all this up, talking about it. I don't agree with anything Jay Gruden does at all. Every move he makes is a bad move.
I have to agree with you on
in
that
my
one, yeah.
opinion. Yes. And I feel that they signed Josh Norman, and Josh Norman instantly became a bad decision. That's what went through my head, is he just instantly became that guy that everybody's like, probably shouldn't have signed him. And if the Broncos gave him $75 million, I'd be like, okay,
Yeah.
well, they look pretty good now. But the Redskins, they still look as bad as they did last year. And I get they got to the playoffs, but they played in the worst division in football.
Oh, it was awful.
It was
Just
terrible.
awful.
Terrible. So you can't sit there and go, all right, well, they're, a NFC contender now, because they're not.
No.
They proved nothing last year, and they did nothing this offseason except for sign Josh Norman, who is a terrible deal. You could have signed so many players for this amount of money.
Exactly.
Awful move. Awful move. I mean, I don't know. I was hoping, I'm a Steelers fan, as I say just about every week. And they were among the people who were the front runners for Josh Norman, and if they signed him for $75 million, I would be pretty upset.
I know where you're coming from, yeah.
It'd be, why?
It's just it's a lot of money.
It's so much money.
For one
$75 million for one guy. One guy who is not going to save your team. Spend $75 million, and, you should have went out and got, I don't know, Malik Jackson or, I don't know, anybody. There's so many people out there. This free agency was packed, and you got Josh Norman, who's 28 years old, has maybe 3 good years left in him, and you're going to sign him for $75 million. Not worth it. Not worth it at all.
I think it was just not a great move.
No, awful move.
Oh, here's another thing, though. I feel like if the Redskins struggle defensively, he's going to be the first person that's going to a finger pointed at him.
Oh, my
for
gosh,
sure.
yes. Remember Albert Hainsworth?
Yep. Exactly.
This is exactly what this is. Albert Hainsworth signed with the Redskins the first day of free agency. I'm pretty sure it was 14 seconds into free agency that year, and he had this huge deal going on.
I think it was the first $100 million contract.
It was.
Yeah.
It was the first, and I don't believe I watched him make a tackle all season long. It was so bad. So you can't. That's exactly. I'm so glad that we're able to talk about this, because that's the perfect comparison.
Yeah.
Is Albert Hainsworth just disappeared. He got, I don't know how much was guaranteed in that contract, but I'm sure it was a lot if it was a $100 million contract. And he did nothing for that money. And Josh Norman could do the exact same thing, because one solid year is not going to do much.
Mm-hmm.
And this could be the only good that could come out of this is it will be another Albert Hainsworth if it goes poorly, and no one will want to sign players for this much money again.
Yeah.
Because Ndamukong Suh got that big contract, and everybody blew up about how terrible of an idea this contract was. Well, it was an awful idea, because you don't sign defensive defensive linemen for that much money anymore
Mm-hmm.
because of Albert Haynesworth. And I believe that the same thing will happen for Josh Norman because Darrelle Revis is the only other example we have of this.
Yeah.
And he still plays okay.
He's still a good corner.
He's a top cornerback.
He's not what he was.
No, he's not. But he's getting older. He's definitely getting older.
Yeah.
But Josh Norman is not Darrelle Revis in his prime.
Exactly.
So why are you giving him $75 million? I have a very hard time agreeing with this in any which way or form. I mean, I would love to have Josh Norman on the Steelers, but not for $75 million.
I agree.
I'll take just about anybody else for that amount of money. I don't know. I'm not about it. All right, we got to get to some sponsorships here.
All right.
Today's show is brought to you in part by the Ledgedale Country Kitchen and Barbecue Pit, located on 1387 Ledgedale Road, Lake Ariel. It's open 7 days a week from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m., and if you're looking for a good home-cooked meal, make sure to come to Ledgedale Country Kitchen, where everyone is treated like family. I'm not going to lie. I'm actually super excited to eat there because I haven't yet.
I haven't either. I see the pictures, and it just looks really cool.
It does. It looks actually, pretty good. We're going to jump into the NFL draft because this is the best part. We have 3 days. There's 3 days till that 8 o'clock mark hits, and everyone in the entire sports world is sitting in front of their television
I'm so excited.
waiting to hear Jared Goff's name called for the Rams. But I've already gone off on that last week. I'm sure I'll do it again today. But
yeah,
awful pick. We're just going to, before we get into it, I want to read you. We have Charles Davis's mock draft, the top 10 right here from NFL.com, and he has Jared Goff going first to the Rams, just like everyone else does.
Yeah.
Then Carson Wentz going second to the Eagles. He has Jalen Ramsey going to the Chargers at 3. Ezekiel Elliott going to the Cowboys. Then Laramie Tunsil to the Jaguars. Joey Bosa to the Ravens. DeForest Buckner to the 49ers. Miles Jack to the Browns, which there's a lot to talk about there because that's a whole other story. Then he has Vernon Hargreaves to the Bucks and Ronnie Stanley from Notre Dame to the Giants at 10. And the first thing that stands out to me is, well, besides Goff, because those first two picks are terrible. We'll get into that in a minute.
Quarterbacks always.
But you signed Sam Bradford to a two-year, $35 million deal. You're the Eagles, and you just signed a quarterback that you said you want to have be your starting quarterback, and then you trade up to get a quarterback. And you didn't just trade up; you traded your entire draft away. You traded so many pieces of this team just to get one guy who you don't know if you want to start or not.
I doubt he'll even play this year. I bet they'll start Bradford and just let him sit behind him.
Probably, but what are you going to do with Bradford in a year?
Exactly.
I mean, are you going to say, okay, well, you taught Wentz the ways. Now, sorry, but, we got to get rid of you.
Yeah, as crazy as it sounds, the Browns are the smart one in this trade.
They really are.
Because obviously they got RG3 to a contract, and if he's going to be their bridge quarterback, why bring in a rookie and just have him sit behind him?
Exactly. I mean, you want to give him a shot, and they want to give him a shot. Hugh Jackson said it, so you might as well. I mean, he's had sparks of great play in the past. I get that he's injury prone, but if you could get past that, if you could teach him not to run and all those things, it could work out. And the Eagles I don't know. I have no idea.
I really don't know.
I don't know who sat there and went, you want to know what? We should give up like 5 draft picks to get another quarterback because we just signed 2, but we should get another one because that's what we like. We like quarterbacks because you're going to have 3 quarterbacks on the roster that all 3 of them could start. I mean, I get Chase Daniels isn't going to start on most teams in the NFL, but he's a quality backup, and you're going to have him play your 3rd quarterback? Why? I don't get it.
I honestly don't know.
No. And then if you look at the Rams, which I said it last week and I'll say it again, terrible trade.
It's
awful.
It's not a good trade. I agree. They traded way too much.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know, but I can see why they did it. They moved to LA, they want to get the fan base excited back again, but I still wouldn't do the trade. Still don't do that.
No, I'm not. Okay, this is my biggest problem.
Okay.
They gave away everyone. They got rid of Jared Cook. They got rid of Laurinaitis. Everybody. They got rid of basically every important aspect of that team except for Todd Gurley and Tavon Austin. And then now they're going to trade up and get Jared Goff to pass to who? Tavon Austin?
That's the thing. They need a receiver. They have no weapons. I mean, Jeff Fisher does not know how to use Tavon Austin, obviously.
No, but I don't think anybody does. I don't think he's a number 1 wide receiver on most teams.
He's a dynamic a player out there for you.
Exactly.
You need a big guy to throw to.
Thank you. You can't just rely on this. they're doing exactly what they did to Sam Bradford. They're drafting a quarterback, number 1 overall, to put him on a team with nothing around him. And this is going to hurt them in the long run because Todd Gurley is going to have to run the ball 30 times a game.
Yeah.
And that's going to put wear and tear on him, and now you don't have him for as long, plus you're running the risk of him getting injured. It's a terrible idea.
Their line is not great to begin with either.
No. There's so many things. You were at 15, you have a good shot that, somebody like Ronald Stanley falls to you.
Yeah.
And even if you don't, this draft is stocked. There's a lot of people out there that you could get. There's no reason to trade up and get a quarterback that people are iffy on. That's the worst part about it. I don't even think he's, a top 10 player in this draft. I don't have Goff or Wentz in my top 10, actually.
I wouldn't either. I think, again, but it's just quarterback's such a big need. It's like the most important position pretty much in any sport. It's just the fact that, like, every team needs to go get one.
Yeah, but they have Case Keenum. What's wrong with Case Keenum? I mean, I get he's not a Goff, but you don't have a team around you. So why not wait until next year?
That's true.
Or draft somebody who could learn behind Case Keenum for a year, like, I don't know, like Paxton Lynch, like Connor Cook, Christian Hackenberg, exactly. Guys with huge potential, but they just need a year or two to sit behind them.
Yeah.
You're going to have to start Jared Goff immediately, go 6-10, and then blame the whole thing on Goff. The entire thing is going to be blamed on him, and it's going to ruin him. That's exactly what's going to happen. He's going to ruin his NFL career because he's going to the LA Rams. And it's sad to say. It really is. And when it comes to Wentz, I mean, I like Wentz, and I think that I have him head and shoulders above Jared Goff.
Really?
Yes.
I think Goff's better. I like Goff better than Wentz.
Than Wentz?
Yeah.
See, I like Wentz. I've watched, I mean, I didn't obviously watch him play live because no one did, but I've looked up plenty of tape on him, and I've looked up Goff, and I just like the way that Wentz is able to control a field and, make plays, but not try to do too much. And I feel like Goff he makes a lot of mistakes. He makes a lot of mistakes. But, I mean, that's just my opinion. Obviously, every single person out there disagrees with me because Jared Goff's going to go number 1 in the draft and Carson Wentz is going to go number 2. So, I don't know.
Here, wait, do you want to hear something else crazy?
Yes.
I like Paxton Lynch more than Carson Wentz, too. I'm a big Lynch fan.
You like Paxton Lynch above Carson Wentz?
I like Lynch. I don't know what it is. I watched a couple Memphis games this year, and he just impressed me. Like, the way that he stood in the pocket and made some nice throws, I don't know. I liked him.
See, it's hard because I like Paxton Lynch as a football player. I think he's really cool to watch. But I think that his windup and his release reminds me so much of Tim Tebow.
Oh, he definitely needs a year. He should not start.
No, not at all.
This year, no way.
No,
I agree with that completely.
He shouldn't start at all. Like, I mean, he should in the NFL, but in a year, maybe 2 years, he's definitely got to get that release down. Mm-hmm. And his accuracy is all over the board.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. I'm a huge Wentz fan. So.
Wentz is good.
So that's just my opinion. But if I had to pick a quarterback, I think Connor Cook's the best quarterback in this draft.
Wow. I like Cook. Cook's good.
I think that besides his off-the-field issues, which no one has any idea what they really are, it's just the fact that he wasn't named captain his senior year, and everybody was like, well, this guy, terrible. You know what? He's might as well not even draft him. And I was like, oh, okay. I guess that makes sense. Which, if you want a leader at quarterback, especially in the NFL, you want that to happen. But if you're looking at talent, I mean, I like Connor Cook a lot. And what really, really stinks is he's going to fall all the way to the Denver Broncos, and they're going to draft him, and they're going to make him insane. And it's just going to make me so upset because man, my dad's a Broncos fan, as many people know, and I just hate to watch them succeed. Like, it's just bad. Like, all this that's going on, terrible. I get so upset whenever I'm watching a game. I'm like, just please lose. Please just lose. Please.
Just so you don't have to hear him?
Yeah, that's the reason. That's exactly the reason. Just for that I don't have to be like, well, the Steelers won too. And he's like, yeah, I don't care. I'm like, okay, cool. Thanks. I don't know. But if you go down this list, I have to ask, because everybody seems to have a problem with this pick. Ezekiel Elliott at 4 to the Cowboys. What do you agree with that? Do you like that? Do you like that pick?
I don't like running backs in the first round to begin with. But
at all?
No.
See, I do. I think that, but I agree with you to a degree because, guys like C.J. Spiller and Derrick Henry, Trent Richardson, those guys, they've proven that you could get a lot of hype and you could not succeed, which it happens all the time. Yeah. But my problem is that there's a guy that comes around every couple of years. Todd Gurley was that guy.
That's what I mean. Todd Gurley is a player that I would take in the first round.
Yeah.
Ezekiel Elliott, I think I'd take him in the first round too. Not top 5.
Not top 5?
Not top 10.
See, if I need a running back, which I get the Cowboys don't necessarily need a running back, but that team's pretty well built. I mean, they don't have the best defense. They have a lot of holes on defense if you really look at them. And a guy like Joey Bosa would be able to come in here and just do wonders for that team.
That'd be
but
scary.
Ezekiel Elliott would – I think that if he's there, you draft him because Darren McFadden's not your future back, and neither is Alfred Morris. So
I agree.
Ezekiel Elliott could come in there and just become your next DeMarco Murray. You know, that's who he could be. And because of that, I like the pick. I actually do. But I agree when you said that would be insane with Joey Bosa because if they draft him, I mean, that would be absolutely nuts.
You know what sucks though? Bosa is going to get drafted. He has him here 6 to the Ravens, and he's probably the most talented player in this draft.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Crazy.
My gosh, yeah. The only problem I have with Bosa is I feel like he's a little slow.
Yeah.
He's a little, nonchalant off the ball, and he's got all the power to get past, whoever he's up against. But when it comes to, I don't know, beating a man off the ball, he's not really the best at it.
Yeah, but I think John Harbaugh and his defense will really help.
Oh
him
my
with
gosh,
that.
yeah. Going to the Ravens, you're fine. I mean, you'll learn how to play defense, which is I mean, is good because I'd like to see everybody succeed. I mean, as for the Ravens, I don't like to see them succeed as a Steelers fan, but I mean, I got to keep it biased. I saw a lot of drafts mock drafts where the Jaguars draft Joey Bosa, and I'm not gonna lie, I really like that pick because if they take Joey Bosa, they sign Malik Jackson. They worked wonders on that team this year, and Joey Bosa would just be a huge compliment to that entire defense, and that's all he would be. But this guy Charles Davis has Laramie Tunsil going to the Jaguars, which I'm perfectly okay with.
Yeah, I understand that. Protect Bortles. You got to protect your guy.
Oh, exactly. And Bortles is there. He's there for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, he's earned it. And a left tackle, I think you said Joey Bosa is the most talented guy in the draft. I think it's Laramie Tunsil.
Yeah. I think the thing is with Tunsil is it looks like the Titans traded out. Like, they didn't want Tunsil.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I think Tunsil's going to be great.
Oh, yes. And that actually did scare me a little bit. But I think that they don't really necessarily need one specific thing. They were looking to build a team.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, was smart on their part. And falling to 15 is nothing. There's quality guys at 15 still. So you'll be fine there. There'll probably be some solid left tackles that you could decide on. And if they get lucky enough, some guy like Ronald Stanley will still be there, which would be incredible for them. But I doubt he falls that far. But yeah, Laramie Tunsil, I like him a lot. Mm-hmm. I think that he's very athletic, especially for a big man, and he's so strong.
Oh yeah, he's a perfect tackle for like the modern NFL.
Oh gosh, yeah.
For sure, yeah.
Gosh, yeah. And I mean, guys want to have a guy like that, especially quarterbacks or teams with a solid quarterback that are building. Yeah. So the Jaguars, that would be a great pick for them. But if they draft Bosa, I'm not even going to be upset about it.
I also saw Miles Jack was a guy that we're looking at too, which I think would be.
Miles Jack scares me just because of his knee.
Is it the knee? That's
his
what I
knee
thought.
scares me.
Yeah.
Just because everybody says that it's a ticking time bomb. That worries me a little bit because of the knee injuries that they seem to be just becoming worse and worse each year. Whenever 5 years ago you tore an ACL, you were back in 9 months. Now if you tear an ACL, you have the potential to never play football again.
Yeah.
Which we see with Jalen Smith, who we'll get to in a minute.
Yeah.
But yeah, Miles Jack's knee it scares me. It actually does scare me a little bit. But I think if you look at him, his career at UCLA, fantastic. Yeah. He was phenomenal.
He's such a freak athlete, and that's the thing that's with the knee. Like if his knee's never 100%, like who knows if he'll be the same player that he was in college.
No, yeah, exactly. He could be slower. He'd have a lot of problems. But I do like him. I do like him a lot. Actually,
I think he's gonna be great.
Here's something for you. Charles Davis has Will Fuller being the first wide receiver selected. You're shaking your head already. No. To the Texans. But he has Will Fuller going to the Texans at 22, Josh Dawkinson going 23 to the Vikings, and then Corey Coleman going 24 to the Bengals. He has 3 wide receivers right in a row, but not until 22, and he has Will Fuller. And he doesn't have Mike Thomas in the first round.
Or Laquan Treadwell, I noticed.
Yeah, neither of them. Neither of them in the first round. I have both of those guys, Mike Thomas and Treadwell, my top 2 wide receivers in this draft. Corey Coleman might be him and Doxson are like a close third. But I have Will Fuller. I think he's fantastic.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of issues with his hands.
He can't catch.
No, he uses his body a lot, which I mean people can fix. I mean, Des Bryant came into the NFL and people complain about that all the time, how he caught with his body. Yeah, and now he's he catches anything you throw at him. Not everybody's going to be an Odell Beckham Jr. Who could catch just about anything you throw at him, or a Javaris Landry. But Will Fuller is fast. He's got the speed. He's a freak of nature athletically, and he could score, just like anyone else, better than anyone else in most circumstances. But the first wide receiver, I'm not okay with it.
I'm not either. He reminds me too much of Ted Ginn.
Yeah, a lot of Ted Ginn.
Ted Ginn's not a bad receiver, but he's not like a first-round talent. Like I would not take Fuller over Doxson, Coleman, Thomas, Treadwell, any of those guys.
No, not at all. I agree. I believe that he's going to do real well in the NFL, but Ted Ginn Jr. is a good.
That's what I think. That's what he reminds me of.
It's a good comparison because he's got a lot of issues and he's super fast. His career at Notre Dame, I mean, he made catches, he made difficult catches, but he used his body a lot of the time.
I feel like he dropped more easy ones than he did difficult ones.
Yeah, no, he did. That's the worst part about it is you would watch him jump over people and catch the ball, but you would watch him miss a pass that's like a foot out in front of him because he had to use his hands. They're basically bricks. If I had to compare them, that's how bad they are. And I don't like to bag on Notre Dame players because I'm a huge Notre Dame football fan.
I'd love to keep bagging Notre Dame players.
Yeah, I know. Everybody does, okay? Everybody does. But it doesn't matter because he's not – I don't think he's going to go 22nd in the Texans.
I don't either.
I don't agree with that at all. I think maybe Doxson will to go 22 because that would be a good compliment, Brock Osweiler would have some serious weapons there.
I don't like that as a Colts fan.
No. Oh, yeah, that's true. You don't. Yeah. Oh, my gosh. Yeah. You're going to have to deal with a hefty Jags team and the Texans rebuilding. Wow.
I'm afraid.
Yeah. That's scary. That's real scary.
Die this year.
It could happen. That's dangerous. That's a dangerous conference right there. I don't know. This whole thing, though, I do like this, though. Out of the wide receivers, Corey Coleman going 24 to the Bengals, I think that would be a phenomenal pick for the Bengals.
I agree completely.
I think that A.J. Green is the best wide receiver in the NFL if he has someone else to take some of the pressure off of him.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a Steelers fan, so I'm not going to say that Antonio Brown's the best wide receiver in the league, even though I believe he is. Thank you. All right. See, someone else said it, so I'm fine to say it. But I think A.J. Green is a close second, maybe a third if you're going to throw, guys like Odell Beckham Jr. in there, DeAndre Hopkins.
I give Julio second.
Okay, Julio Jones. Yeah. See, they're all in that mix. They're all right there. Yeah. If he had someone to take the pressure off, because Sanu and Marvin Jones were not doing it.
No.
You didn't even have to cover them. The only reason they had big games is because A.J. Green was getting triple teamed. That was it. So if you put a guy like Corey Coleman on the field across from adjacent from A.J. Green, that's good options.
Definitely.
That takes a lot of pressure off A.J. Green and allows him to do a lot of things. And I don't want to see him go down like a Calvin Johnson where eventually in his career he can't do anything because people are always on him.
Yep, exactly.
Which is hard. So I like this move a lot.
Yeah. I think Corey Coleman's going to be great.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I think that this year's wide receiver class is...
I think it's underrated. I don't think a lot of people are talking about it that much, but I think it's good.
It's so good. There's so many wide receivers that are coming out that could be really good wide receivers. There's a lot of them. This Josh Doxson might be one of the best wide receivers I've seen in a long time coming into the NFL.
Oh, he was awesome last year for TCU.
He's so good. And he's the perfect package. He could catch anything. He's fast. He's physical. He really is. He's built for the NFL.
Yeah.
So I agree. I think it's very underrated. But I mean, I don't know. Let him not keep talking about it, and we'll just see them all blow up in the NFL.
Yeah,
because
seriously. But look at all the teams that are getting receivers though. Like the Texans, 22, 23, 24. These are teams that were in the playoffs last year.
Oh,
and they're getting better offensively.
Yeah, exactly. Like if a guy like Corey Coleman falls to the Bengals, that just makes them that much scarier.
Exactly.
If you give Teddy Bridgewater someone to pass to like Josh Doxson at 23, you just shot that Vikings offense from like a 4 to like a solid 9.
Exactly.
This shouldn't happen. I mean, it's going to happen because none of the lower teams seem to want to draft a wide receiver. But this is a perfect example. The Rams need a wide receiver. Why are you trading from 15-1 if Will Fuller is the first wide receiver selected at 22? The first, which means Mike Thomas and them are still there. Draft somebody. You're 15. You're going to get a good wide receiver at 15, and you could draft one and then use him to build and draft a guy like Christian Hackenberg. Put him behind Case Keenum and have Case Keenum just work with Mike Thomas or work with Coleman or work with Doxson or work with Fuller, and build that and have Hackenberg learn. Not trade your entire team and every draft pick you have for the next 4 years, to get one guy that has nothing around him.
Yeah, you know what's funny, though? The Rams, their defense was built off the RG3 trade when they traded down. Like, shouldn't they realize that these trades work out for the teams that, trade down?
Exactly. The Titans made out they robbed them.
Yeah, they really did.
It's not even.
I agree.
It's bad. I actually feel bad because I was excited for LA to get a football team, and now they have to deal with this. And if you're a fan of the LA Rams, I mean, you're upset because I'd be upset.
I mean, they're probably gonna go 7-9 with Jeff Fisher anyway. So.
Oh gosh, yeah, he's probably got a year or two left in him before that he's out of there too.
Yeah.
I mean, I like him, but he doesn't make the best decisions all the time. Charles Davis also has Paxton Lynch. He's the third quarterback to go at 29, which to the Cardinals.
I like that.
Which could be good. That's a good pick. That's a little dangerous because if he's able to learn behind Carson Palmer,
that's scary.
That is scary. And Carson Palmer's got to have maybe 2 or 3 years in him before he's got to hang it up. He's getting up there in age, and he's been just beat left and right.
But he's been brilliant the past couple of years with the Cardinals.
Oh,
and Bruce Arians too, as his coach, teach him how to be a quarterback.
Yeah, no, I agree completely. He will be one great quarterback if he's put into this offense. But I disagree. I don't think that he'll go that low. I think that he's more of a 16, 17 pick.
Someone's gonna trade up for him. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, Connor Cook and Christian Hackenberg are not in this first round mock draft. I disagree. I believe all 5 of them will go in the first round.
You believe all 5 of them will go in the first round?
In the first round.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Wow.
Every one of them. I think that teams like the Jets will trade up and get one.
Okay, that makes sense.
I believe that the Broncos will draft a quarterback in the first round if it's not Connor Cook or Christian Hackenberg. And I believe that they will let whoever falls to them draft. And I also believe that the Cardinals will draft. So I think those will be the other 3 teams. And, I mean, I'm not saying the Browns are going to, trade again and draft another quarterback and, teams are going to jump up and get, Paxton Lynch. No, I'm saying that people are going to fall and a lot more teams need a quarterback than people realize.
Yeah, that all makes those are all quarterback needy teams that make sense. So
Exactly.
I know what you're saying.
And, I mean, John Elway could develop a quarterback in no time at all.
Yeah.
So you don't even need to have a solid starting quarterback on the Broncos team. Mark Sanchez will do fine.
But wait, how much worse can he be than Peyton was last year? I love Peyton Manning. He's my favorite player ever, but he was not good.
No, exactly.
How much worse could Sanchez actually be?
That's exactly what I'm saying. You don't need anyone. All you need is someone to go there and not turn the ball over every time he gets a shot,
exactly.
Which, I mean, I get Mark Sanchez does a lot, but you will be fine. You could sit here and, talk about all these quarterbacks that they could possibly draft. You don't need to draft anybody. You need, maybe a Christian Hackenberg if he falls to you. But you don't need to trade up. You don't need to struggle for anything because your team is built around everything else except for a quarterback.
Yeah, I think they're going to be just fine no matter what they go. I think they should start Sanchez this year, opening day.
Oh, yeah, me too. And I like Mark Sanchez.
Me too.
I think he's a good quarterback actually. He's just never gotten the chance.
Yeah, he has the talent. I just don't think he doesn't have the confidence, I don't think.
No, but that's hard to develop when Rex Ryan was your coach and you played for the Jets. I mean, that's hard.
Yeah.
You were on there. That was a team that, I mean, no offense, but it was just a total joke for a while.
They made 2 AFC Championship games in a row, though.
They did. They had a lot of talent on that team. And don't get me wrong, I think Rex Ryan is a good coach on the right team. I think he fits well in Buffalo.
Yeah.
But the Jets organization as a whole is more built around entertainment than it is about winning football. It's like Jerry Jones. if Mark Sanchez went to the Cowboys, he'd be in the same situation because you can't work with people like that.
Yeah.
They're not looking to win football games. They're just looking to sell tickets.
That's why the Manziel Dallas rumors were blowing up all the time.
Exactly. Which, I mean, still probably aren't dead because I guarantee some which way or another he's going to end up in the NFL, which gets me mad because I don't think he deserves it at all. No, not at all.
He's blown too many.
No, so many. I don't I don't understand. Like, I get that he's got a problem, but just admit that you're not ready for the NFL and let us all move on with our lives.
Exactly.
Because I'm not looking to sit here and talk about you all the time because it gets annoying. It actually does get annoying. I do want to talk about Jalen Smith though before we move on. If you don't know, Jalen Smith, he's a linebacker who played for Notre Dame. He left as a junior, and he tore numerous ligaments in his knee when they played Ohio State in the bowl game at the end of the year. And now there's a big question on whether or not he'll be able to play this year, let alone ever again, because the nerves in his knee seem to be degenerating. They won't generate back. They won't, form again, and it's a big issue. And because of that, a lot of teams are having him fall down the draft board, which stinks because I heard Mel Kiper Jr. say that he was the best player in the draft.
I think he was he's probably the most talented player. He was definitely the best linebacker, definitely a top 3 player. Like, it sucks.
Yeah, no, it does because you watch him, he's built for the NFL.
Oh, he's a beast.
He is. He's super athletic. He's fast. He could hit you. He's built. He could do just about anything.
Yeah.
And, it's sad to see this talent go because, well, if it does go, I think he'll still get drafted in the first round. I think somebody's going to take a chance on him.
I don't know. I think 3rd round,
Third round?
Yeah. I think teams are too afraid. Like, you can still get good players in, like, the 1st, 2nd round.
No, yeah, you can. But I think that a team who doesn't really need much, maybe a team, I don't know, maybe a team like the Broncos are just like, you know what? Let's grab Jalen Smith. You want to know why? Because all the quarterbacks are gone and we don't really need anything else. So let's grab him.
I see the Cardinals doing it too.
Yeah, a team maybe like the Patriots.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. There's teams out there that don't need much and could just be like, okay, yeah, let's grab Jalen Smith because if he can play, he's going to be insane.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to happen. It's like Miles Jack. I mean, you have these problems, but you look at them and go, well, while they play, they're going to be fantastic.
Yes, exactly.
So it's hard to pass up on them. That's why I think he'll go in the first round. But again, I mean, that's a stretch. That's a far stretch.
I think the fact that he's not, like, there's no way he's going to play this first year, I think that's going to scare away a lot of teams.
A lot of teams, yeah. Because then you look at a guy that reminds you a lot of, LaMarcus Lattimore.
Yep.
Great. In my opinion, he would have been one of, if not the best running back of all time if he was able to play.
He was an insane talent.
He was. He really was. And, it went, obviously he got hurt. He was never able to play in the NFL. And it sucked to see, but it's scary because you don't want this to happen again with another player. And it looks like it could happen. It's a little intimidating. I don't know. There's a lot to talk about. Ezekiel Elliott, obviously we've been through that and it's scary. I have this question for you.
Okay.
Dak Prescott.
Dak? All right, Dak attack.
Dak attack. If you had the opportunity to draft him in the first 2 rounds, say Cook's gone, Lynch gone, Hackenberg gone, all those guys off the board, your team like the Denver Broncos or the Dallas Cowboys or the Browns or something like that, a team, the Jets maybe, with not a intense need for a quarterback, but are looking for a quarterback for the future. In my opinion, Dak Prescott is the guy I'm going to. I like him a lot.
Oh, I do it too. I would take him I think he's a 2nd round pick.
See, all right, good. I'm glad that you agree there because I do. I like him a lot. I think he looks a lot like a guy like Paxton Lynch.
Yeah, that's what I think. I think he's a project. He needs a year or 2.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, if you're able to work with him and sit him behind someone, then you should be fine.
Exactly. He's a lot of talent. You just need some tuning, and then I think a year sitting behind a decent quarterback and a good coach, I think he'll be great in the NFL one day.
Oh, 100%. I actually 100% agree with you. I'm actually really glad that you agreed
yeah,
that.
no, I love Dak Prescott.
Because most people I talk to are like, you know what? No, he's all right. He was a good college quarterback for a year. I'm like, no, he wasn't. He just had a terrible team around him.
Oh yeah, he was that offense.
Exactly. When Mississippi State had that run and they were ranked first for like a week or 2, he was the only person on that team.
Yeah, Dak did everything.
Exactly. There was nothing else around him. So you can't say, oh, he wasn't a good quarterback. No, his team was terrible. He played for Mississippi State. They did nothing, and they will never do anything. It was just him. He was the only thing that made that team good at all. So, I mean, yeah. No, I agree with you. I'm glad. I'm glad that we do. We're going to jump back into sponsorships a little bit before we bring out Nick Woodman in our phone interview, which we're very excited for. Are you one of the thousands of people out there planning a significant event? Maybe you're getting married, celebrating a milestone, or planning the party of your dreams. Well, I have the perfect touch to your special event. Flowers by John Mackey is one of the leading event planning companies in all of Northeast Pennsylvania. From the wedding party to the reception, they cover everything your event needs. And don't worry about experience or location. Flowers by John Mackey has created magnificent events all over the country. There's no better option for your big day. For more information, visit flowersbyjohnmackey.com or check them out on Facebook. Flowers by John Mackey. Make your event an event to remember. So me and Connor are super excited to introduce Utica football star and future NFL draftee Nick Woodman. How's it going, man?
I'm doing pretty good. How you doing?
I'm good. We're doing well, Always good to be here.
That's good to hear.
Obviously, congratulations on where you are. It's crazy, 1 in a million chance to get where you are right now, and you're doing it. But I gotta ask, what are you feeling right now? It's draft week. You have 3 days until the draft starts, and potentially you hear your name called. And what are you feeling so close to, your dream?
It's like anxiousness. I'd say more than nervousness, because I'm just anxious and I just want it to hurry up and get here. Because a lot of people always ask me every day, how are you feeling? When are you gonna know different things and blah blah. And it's like after sitting and talking about it with my agent and my coach and my trainer and stuff. I don't know. I've talked about it so much that it's just, I don't know. I'm not gonna say it's not. It's just another thing, because it's not. Because it's probably one of the biggest things that ever impact my life.
Yeah.
Potentially. So I'm nervous and I'm anxious about it, but I'm not ready for it. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I'm more than ready for whatever happens, regardless if I get drafted or if I'm a priority free agent or a free agent or a rookie, whatever. Whatever happens, I'm ready for it.
Oh, all right. That's awesome. I'm sure that you hear about it and you get asked about it all the time, like you said, which is as, I don't want to say annoying as it could get. It's probably a great feeling because you're able to be that person. But going in, I want to know what the first thing, obviously, you're going to do when you hear your name called. If you hear your name called, what are your expectations immediately, being an NFL player?
Man. I don't know. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is definitely call my parents. Probably going to drive home and freak out with them. But that's after I wake up, because I'll probably pass out. So I'll wake up and go celebrate with them and stuff like that. And then, I don't know, and then just keep doing what I'm doing, and then talk to my agent and see what we got to do next and how the process goes and stuff like that. And then just keep working, because I've been working I'm already in the NFL, I'm already there, and I've got to just keep doing what I'm doing and stuff like that, because I don't know how to explain it. I'm not going to change exactly what I'm doing. Obviously I'm going to make some changes, and there's certain things that I got asked to speak at at the senior dinner for our school. So if I have to go to camp or something when it's happening, obviously I can't do it. So I have to figure out another way to still get my speech across that I'm working on and stuff like that, and different things like that I've planned and all that. But I'm pretty sure people will understand the situation, because at Utica, there's I don't know, I can't explain. There's so much support here. It's crazy. I've been. When they first came, when the scouts and stuff first came, I was told, just be ready for the people who are going to doubt you and hate on you and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, yeah, definitely. But, I at least to my face, nobody's said like, "Oh, like you suck, like you don't even deserve to have this opportunity." Like so many people are happy for me. Like I didn't even know like people even paid attention to it like that. You know what I'm saying?
No, yeah.
Or even knew like who I was. So I don't know. Like it's just the support is crazy, and just like the love and the atmosphere that I always get is like, I don't know, like it makes me feel really good. So I'm not gonna do anything to like prevent that from happening anymore. And like I want to make a lot of people proud and stuff like that. So I'm probably gonna work even harder and push my body even farther to see how far I can go and different things like that. So.
I mean, yeah, that's definitely a mentality to have. That's awesome. That actually leads right into the next question. I mean, there's obviously a lot of pass rushers, a lot of edge rushers coming into the NFL this year. I mean, there's 3 that are projected to go in the first 10 picks of the draft. But what separates you from everyone else? Why are you where you are right now, and why are you going to be able to succeed in the next level?
I would say definitely my mentality, my willingness to learn, like my coachability and different things like that, and my willingness to buy in to something. Because like I don't really do things with like a half heart, and like if I do think I'm gonna have a half heart about it, like I just won't do it, or I'll just figure out a different way to make it happen or something. Because like if I can't put my whole effort into it, then why do it? Like why waste my time if I'm not gonna give it 120%? So definitely learning, the ability to learn, how fast I can learn. Because I feel like I'm pretty good at learning plays and stuff like that, and remembering different schemes and all that stuff. So probably that, my relentlessness definitely, because I learned that like you don't have a guaranteed next play, so why not give it everything you've got on that play? Like why leave something out there so then when you're laying in your bed at night hurting and stuff, you're like, oh man, I could have did this or I could have did that. Because then at the end of the day, if you're thinking like that, then you left too much out there. Like obviously nobody likes losing, so obviously if you did lose, like you would think about that. But it's like if you have regrets and stuff, then you just, I don't know, I feel like you just didn't do the job to your best ability. And I feel like I do that pretty well, like doing the job the right way the first time and stuff like that. So I don't know. I would say just my willingness not to give up. Like I don't know, like I could lose a play because nobody's perfect. Everybody's lost a play before.
That's true.
But having short-term memory is something I'm really good at too, and it's definitely my competitiveness. I would say as well, because I love fighting with people. Like not like fist fighting, but like going up against somebody, and whether I won or lost, like just knowing that like I gave it my best shot, and me not wanting to lose is definitely something that I feel like I bring to the table as well.
I mean, hey, if an NFL scout hears that, I mean, I don't know who wouldn't draft you. That's about the complete package right there.
Yeah.
I mean, but obviously, you know, something had to happen. You had to learn to get to where you are right now. And you talk about all this, you know, this crazy passion for the game and your mentality and everything about that. But who are you most thankful for? For getting you to where you are right now. I mean, with that mentality, with that competitiveness, all of that. Who are you most thankful for in helping you get to where you are?
It probably has to be a mix between my parents, and I had this coach my sophomore and junior year who he just refused to take a loss. Like he just refused it. And he was like, it would definitely, yeah. It has to be between him and this other coach that I had too, because they just like they was just like it's unacceptable to lose a play. So like before I met him, like before I met the main coach, because it was the head D-line coach and then an assistant D-line coach. So before I met the head one, like I would run to the ball, but like I wouldn't sprint to the ball. Like I would go like 75% during the play because I knew there was still a second and a third down. You know what I'm saying? Like when he came, like he changed like my whole mindset and my whole like, I don't know, like it just brought like a different person out of me, because it was like every practice he'd be like, oh, well, how good do you want to be? Like, what are you going to do to get to that level? Like, you're a good player, but do you want to be a great player? Like how bad do you want to beat the guy across from you so that you can make a big play for your team? Like, I don't know. Like, he just put, like, so many different thoughts in my head and, like, just put so much. I wouldn't say, like, aggression because, like, I was, like trying to channel, like, anger and stuff like that. And football is something, like, everybody does. So channeling it the right way was something that he helped me out with, too. And being able to, like, keep a cool head in certain situations and to understand football better. And, like, sitting and talking with him for the numerous hours that we did, like, he helped explain football to me even more. And, like, I don't know, like, he was just a dude. Like, he was just that guy.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, I mean, that's awesome.
So,
I feel like if you talk to anybody, they have to have a coach like that, because without it, where would they be? I mean,
yeah, exactly.
I mean, but before we let you go, I wanna know. I mean, I'm sure if you ask any player in your position right now, their answer, will be anywhere at all. I want to play for any team. But if I had to ask you, do you have any preference in a coach, a team, a scout, a coordinator, anything that makes a team more presentable than another team that you would wish to play for if you got to choose?
Oh man, that's hard because you stole my answer. Because I really don't care where I play. I'll play wherever. But like, obviously I'm not saying obviously because I don't even know if you know, but I'm a Minnesota Vikings fan, so obviously I would love to go to Minnesota and wear the purple and gold and stuff like that. But like, yeah, I really would play anywhere. But oh man, this is hard. This is a tough one. I never really thought about it like this before.
I mean, there's a bunch of them out there.
Yeah. I think you got about 32 of them. So
yeah.
I don't know. Like, I like the Jets because of their defense and stuff like that, and like what they do and their ridiculous defensive line and stuff like that. Like, they just a different level of people. And then I feel like if I could, like, I would love to learn from Von Miller with the Broncos and, like, pick his brain on a lot of different things because he's just a beast. And same with Khalil Mack at the in the Oakland Raiders. Like, I follow him on Snapchat, and, like, watching his Snapchat, it's like, he's just such a savage. Like, it's just, I don't know, it's crazy. And watching him play football, he's just a different dude. And, like, him coming from Buffalo was even crazier too, because it's like, oh, when you think of, like, Buffalo University, you don't really think of, like, crazy athletes and stuff like that. At least in recent years, besides for him. So for him to come from a small school and just be dominating in the NFL like that, like, that's, I don't know, like, he's just a different guy. So, like, I'd probably want to play with them so I could pick their brains and figure out how they think and how they work and stuff like that, and, like, what they do to be successful, so I could be as successful as they are, even better than them. So.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, yeah, that's definitely the way to think. I'm sure it'd be fantastic to be on any one of those teams. I mean, they're probably geniuses, as we all see every Sunday. But I mean, hey, man, we wish you the best here. We can't wait to hear your name, called. I'm sure I'll shoot you a text the second that I hear it. I'm sure the rest of everybody else will. But congratulations again where you are. It's fantastic.
Thank you.
And thanks for coming on the show. I mean, we'd love to have you, and hope for the best this Thursday. Hopefully hear your name called.
Yeah, nice. Thank you, man.
Thanks,
appreciate
dude.
it.
Take care, man.
You too.
And that's going to do it for us. I'd like to give a thanks, as always, to Conor for coming on the show again.
Oh, it's no problem. I love being here. I love talking about anything, really.
How good. We'll I'm sure, once again, we'll have you back on.
All right,
and
great.
obviously, huge thanks to Nick Woodman. Hope for the best, in the next couple of days. Hope to hear your name called, and we'll all be rooting for you.
Yeah,
Make sure to subscribe to Average Joe Sports on iTunes and SoundCloud. Make sure to check them out at averagejoesports.com, a blog for your everyday sports fan. And make sure to look for us next week as we come back with another show post-draft. And everyone out there, enjoy your draft, root for Nick, and we'll see you next week.